Hard rocking. Man, what a weekend.
What a weekend. That was a fun, hard. I see hard rock what you did there.
Yeah. I will say, like, you know, the difference between Western States and Hard Rock is that Western States, you know, the winner before you go to bed.
Yeah.
Hard Rock, you know, it's, I guess if you got up early enough on the East Coast or Eastern time zone, you could see the finish.
He had because I slept in Saturday. Saturday. He had finished like, I don't know, maybe only a couple hours before I woke up on the East Coast in Eastern time zone. And even then, you're like, dude, that's absolutely fun. And I think I woke up just in time, weirdly enough, to see second place finish.
Yeah.
So like that's like, it is hilarious how long that race takes. Like, you're just like, I mean, I don't know. It's funny because like my wife was like, so wait a second, we're actually just sitting here like legit watching people run this. I'm like, you know,
more like watching people come in aid stations and leave aid stations. It's so remote.
And like, what's funny is like we had tuned in to one of the times we tuned in was right at the one, I can't remember which aid station it is, but you could literally see people kind of like go by the aid station and then they'd start sliding down the hill and then their heads would just disappear. And you're like, good God. You know, I'm like, that is absolutely insane how steep that is. Like they're there and then they're gone. And like it's not like they're on a switchback because you just don't see them again. I was like, God.
There is one aid station that's Kroger's Canteen.
Yeah.
Where they have to, it's up on a peak. They have to hike all the supplies up there. And Joe Grant, I think, runs that aid station. And it's kind of like a highly sought after gig to work that aid station. But it's literally at the top of this super steep peak. And I wish there's some video of it somewhere.
I'm pretty positive that's where they were when we chimed in. Like, I'm pretty positive because I feel like because they even have that thing stamped into the wall up there, up into the stone, right? Kroger's, like, you can see it up there. So
yeah, like here's them like in their little cave, like,
yeah,
and it's just a straight drop off out of there.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, so yeah, and you know, it went to bed, woke up, and learned that there's a new men's course record set by a 49-year-old Frenchman.
Yeah, 49. And it's kind of funny because I remember last week when we were recording this, I remember like looking at him when we were talking about who they put on the podium. You know, who our picks were, like, come on. I don't know, man. I can't imagine being that old. And now what's kind of funny is I will tuck this away in my brain for next year when we record. Because again, listening to the live stream, I think it's HAW talking and going over, you know, like what it takes to finish. Like, never mind to win Hard Rock, but just to finish it. And he was, I'm pretty positive with him, was basically saying like, no, like Hard Rock is one of the few that is like, it favors the older runners. Yeah. And just because, you know, like, it's like, you are not going out that thing fast. You're just not, you know what I mean? And he was talking about how, you know, oddly enough, this is a race that really works well for, you know, you're a little bit older. Because, like, it's not just, it wasn't just Pomerant that was an older guy. I mean, the entire podium is, I think the youngest person on the podium is like 39 for the guys. So, I mean, shit, You know what I mean? Like, even he's getting ready to hit the big 4-0.
Yeah. I can definitely see that favoring because, older runners, maybe more experience with nutrition and all that. And it's definitely a hiker's race, right? It's not a runner's race, but Ludovic Pomeray, let's see, he led. Did he lead from the beginning?
Oh yeah, I think he jumped out on it and was like, it goes back, like he hit those first couple climbs, because I remember watching initially, because I was still working when it first kicked off. I was only watching the tracker, right? And even though the tracker was doing some weird glitchy stuff, you could still kind of generally see.
Yeah.
And Pomerette was just on that. I mean, he was just putting it to them guys on the climbs. And then you're like, okay, we'll hit the descents, and like maybe someone will be able to point me on the descents. Nope. I mean, that dude just like he put on an absolute effing clinic. It was nuts.
Yeah, it was insane how steady he was. Like he just didn't waver. Like, so right here it says he had a 2.5 minute lead, mile 28, when he entered Telluride. And then the 4,300 foot climb to Kroger's Canteen aid station, which we were just talking about, that sits at 13,100 feet above sea level. He came through the lead again, smiling and drinking Coke, leaving after a minute. Francois Dehaene was close behind, and Jason Schlarb, the American. Schlarb tied Killian for the win in 2016 Hardrock. Looks like he's recovering from a torn ACL 2 years ago. He came through in third. And on the descent to Ouray, Pomerette opened up the gap. By Ouray, the gap to Dehaene, who began to show signs of fatigue, was 23 minutes. And just over halfway, the top four men were Pomerette, Dehaene at 62 minutes off the lead, and Schlarb 2 minutes behind him, Pezos 11 minutes behind him. So he'd opened up an hour lead at the halfway point.
Yeah.
And we all know that Francois Dehaene ended up dropping at where did he drop at? Anemus
50 something?
58. Yeah, it was 58.
And then quite frankly, when Dehaene, I hate to say this about Pazos or like Schlarb or anyone else that was kind of in the hunt at that point, but quite frankly, there was a pretty big gap, right? Pomerette, and then there's a gap between Pomerette and Dehaene. Dehaene was trying to hang with that, but from Dehaene to third, fourth, and everything else, there was a solid. So as soon as he dropped, you're like, well, there you go. I mean, this is Pomerette's now Pomerette's to lose. Like it would have had to been like a combination of not only Pomerette doing something really, really dumb or really, really bad,
right.
but also Pazos or Schlarb or somebody or Rome
just catching fire,
doing something great, right? Like they would have had to have like the best back 50 of their lives, and like it was just like that perfect storm of like, well, crap. Well, not oh crap, but like oh well, this is solidified. And then it really became, as soon as Dehaene dropped, it really did become like, what will the record look like now, right? And like I went to bed
because it was close. Yeah.
Well, when I went to bed, he was at Pomerette was at mile 73.
Sherman.
And he was up 22 minutes on the record.
That's right.
He was up 22 minutes on the record, and I even tweeted out, then when I woke up in the morning and I saw what he finished, he only beat the record by 3 minutes. And I tweeted out, or maybe I replied to Iron Far's tweet of like something to the effect of like, man, must have been a really rough night last night for Pomerette. Like, you know, he lost. Like, and again, like you keep using like he lost. Like he went from 22 minutes up to only winning by beating it by 3. And Iron Far actually made a really aha like observation. Quite frankly, I didn't even think about. And it was simply that Pomerette didn't have a bad night. It's more that Killian was at that point overnight was like second place is right there on his heels. And Killian's like, bam, and put the hammer down on the would be ultimately the second place finish. So
I remember that.
Yeah. And so it wasn't that Pomerette fell back in time.
He just wasn't being pushed.
It was more that Killian moved up in time. And so really in my mind, what that now means is had Killian not been pushed and really pushed it hard, that Killian may not have set the record that night, that day, and that Pomerette would have beat the record this year. It would have been beaten like an older record. You know what I mean? Like it was just an interesting like aha moment that I really didn't think of that Iron Far had kind of presented to me. I'm like, oh, that's kind of a cool take. Or observation. It's not a take. It's a correct observation.
Yeah, no, that's pretty insightful. That makes perfect sense. And let's see, Pezos at mile 87 still looks strong. He passed Schlarb, who was battling nausea, and Pezos turned a 9-minute deficit into a 6-minute lead, and it remained that way to the finish. Schlarb did hold on for podium, 3rd place. And then Jeff Rome, who was he on, did I pick him on podium or wild card?
You, good sir, had him in 3rd place.
Okay, he came in 4th.
Yep. Right? You had your podium. Your podium was Miller, DeHane,
Scratch.
Miller, DeHane, Rome, and your your honorable mention was the goat, the speed goat.
Oh yeah.
Which was a pretty cool kind of like that dude is eating it up too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so Ludo, the guy that set the course record by 3 minutes, finished in 21 hours and 33 minutes. Diego Pazos, 24 hours, 39 minutes. And Schlarb, 24 hours and 48 minutes. Jeff Rome, 26 hours and 30 minutes. Nick Coury came in 7th.
Yeah.
So he had a pretty good day.
Negative split to back 50, I believe.
Yeah, I would say so.
I'm pretty wild.
Yeah, Paul Terranova 6th. He had a good run. These guys are finishing in 30 hours. Think about that. Like, we finish a race like Mohican in 30 hours. It's like these guys are finishing Hardrock.
Well, the other thing that was kind of funny, and I guess for whatever reason, I just never really thought about the individual climbs and how high they were. The climb to the Kroger Canteen is a 4,300 foot climb, right?
Yeah.
And so what's kind of funny, what's really kind of sick and twisted, is there's legitimately 100-mile races out there whose entire elevation gain is that one climb. Feet.
Yeah.
And it is one climb out of Hardrock. Like it is. I was like,
yeah.
Damn,
there's a series of those climbs. Like 3,000 to 5,000 foot climbs.
Yeah.
I read last weekend about how many there were. I can't remember, but there's 33,000 feet of climbing in the race.
Yeah.
And this year, did we talk about this in the last episode? Like which route is harder?
Yes.
I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
This year is climbing shelves and coming down ramps. So
yeah,
AJW's opinion is this year this year, or the clockwise direction that they went in, or did they go counter?
No, they went clockwise this year.
Did they?
Yeah.
His opinion was that that's the easier route,
easier, yeah.
quote, easier. But anyway, so that was the men's race. And then the women's race, like, I mean, is it even a surprise anymore?
No.
Like, Courtney Dauwalter sets another record. She is so great.
and what's kind of wild is there for a little while, I mean, probably the first 50K or so, she had women up around her. You know what I mean?
She was being pushed early.
And then it was like, oh, are we really getting ready to see this? You know, I mean, I think it's for like maybe even longer. I want to say Brius might have hung with her until like maybe the 50-mile mark, and then finally Court was like, "Ah, we're all right. Like, we're cool. I'm out of here."
So Katharina Hartmuth and Camille Bruyas, which is they call her Cami Bruyas. They're the ones that challenged, and Dauwalter opened up a small gap on Bruyas at mile 11, maintained it through Chapman at mile 18. By Telluride at mile 28, Bruyas closed the gap and came through in the co-lead with Dauwalter, 2 minutes under course record. And then Courtney slowly pulled away, 5 minutes up at Kroger Canteen, mile 33, 6 minutes by Ouray at mile 44, and then a strong move to increase her lead by 31 minutes at mile 52. So just like the men's race, right about the halfway mark, that gap started widening.
It begins, you start seeing
Bruyas and Hartmuth and Tara Dower, who had a really good race despite the fact that she puked like 8 times or something.
Did you see? Here's why I can listen. This is why I absolutely love me some Tara Dower. Did you see her Instagram post?
Which one?
So she just posted, maybe yesterday or today. She posted like a montage of photos from Hardrock. The caption on it was, "I'm a hard rocker" or something like that.
I think I did see that.
Picture 2 of her montage is absolute pure gold. I mean, it's giving me chills just thinking about it. It is every bit of hydration and calories she had right there. Like, zoom in on that. I know it's tucked in behind the grass, but there is some serious chunking going on in that picture. Might not let you really well. But yeah, it's like it is.
I can blow it up. Yeah, yuck.
That's
gross.
It is awesome. You know, and like what's wild about that, it's daylight, right? So like, that's not like it's like late in the race. It's obviously not in the night, right? So like, she was battling demons early.
Yes, she was.
Through, you know what I mean? Like, she battled.
Yeah, I felt bad for her because like she had a heck of a training block going into this thing, and she was my pick for what, second, I think.
Tara, you had her a second.
But yeah, I mean, not much you can do about puking and stuff.
Yeah.
So good for her for sticking it out and finishing. By mile 93, 3 women were in contention for positions 3 through 5. Wynn, Halnan, and Dower separated by 16 minutes. And then Halnan made a move mile 97, passed Wynn to move into 4th, made up more than 20 minutes in less than 6 miles. Dower put a huge move of her own on a final rocky descent, passed Wynn with the gap growing visibly in a short distance. Courtney set she broke her own record and by I think by like 2.5 minutes, right? So
Yeah.
26 hours and 11 minutes. Bria second, 29 hours, 28 minutes. Katharina Hartmuth, 30 hours and 29 minutes. If you think about how hard Hardrock is, the second place is 29 hours and 28 minutes. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
And that is like an elite athlete. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
so so luckily I was watching. It's like you come. I don't know very many people have sat and watched the entire live feed, so I was kind of coming in and out and doing this and doing that. Interesting enough, I came right back in when I missed Courtney finishing. I think I missed that, but I did see Camille finish, Cam and Katharina. I saw those two finish because they're so close to one another. But they were saying Cam coming in under 30 hours, she's one of only like maybe a dozen women that have finished Hardrock in under 30 hours.
Yeah.
So and it's funny because watching Cam finish, it was kind of funny because she walked it in from like way the fuck out.
I saw that actually. I was watching.
She walked it in.
Hell yeah.
She's like, listen, I'm going to make under 30.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Katharina is not going to catch me.
She had a half-hour lead. Yeah.
Yeah, like I am not here to like. I you know what I mean? It is what it is.
There was no reason. There was no reason to run that,
dude. And I was like that. Like, there's a level of absolute badassery to her. Just like, yeah. Like, what are we doing? Like, like the way she's kind of strolled in. Like, I don't know why it really fucking made my day. So it was really kind of cool.
Yeah, no, definitely just finishing. There's only 146 people that start the race, so just finishing Hardrock is an amazing accomplishment. You know, what's crazy is you see the next morning, you see these elite athletes finishing, and you look at the overall map, and there's still runners back at like mile 45, 50, like, or maybe over 50, like 50, between 50 and 60. It's like, holy crap. It's like just a totally different world,
What's wild is on the note of 146 runners start. I don't know if you've looked at this yet or not. Do you have any guess on how many DNFs there were?
I did not see it, but I'm guessing there was like
146 started.
20 DNFs.
26.
Yep.
26 DNFs.
It's a high finisher rate. I think just like Western states, it's like if you get into this thing, that's your once in a lifetime shot. You're going to train your ass off. There was actually a guy that from the Bay Area that some of my friends know. He came in like 20, 25 minutes after cutoff.
Really?
So tough, man. Like, and he's a pretty decent runner too. He ran Bear the same year I ran Bear. But like the San Francisco Running Company or Healdsburg Running Company, they put out an Instagram post that he was a California time Hardrock finisher because it's an hour back, right?
They had 4 people got stopped at mile 91. 4 people timed out at 91. The last according to this, according to what I'm looking at, and what's kind of crazy at mile 91, right? Like I'm looking at this at mile 91. If I'm looking at this correct, at mile 91, right? The person came into mile 91 at 42 hours and 44 minutes. So you still have, you got 48 hours to do it. So you still had 5 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, but
5 hours and 50 minutes to go 9 miles, and they're pulling people.
But you also have like a 4,000 foot climb out of mile 91.
So messed up. It's so messed up. The last person to finished in 47:57.
Oh man,
But
dude,
butthole puckered when they hit that city limits, boy. You
dude,
hit the city limits, you probably felt pretty solid, but you're probably a little nervous.
I've been there, man. At
Yeah,
Fat
yeah.
Dog, I finished with 48-hour time limit with like a little over 5 minutes to spare, and trust me, it was pucker city, man. Like, you
Man,
know,
that's crazy.
yeah, it is crazy, but yeah, you know, another, you know, the live stream was cool because, you know, the tracker was not the best at updating, so with the live
Yeah.
stream, it gave us a better idea of who was where. You know, they couldn't really get out to parts of the court, like remote parts, because it's all remote, and so really they just had cameras at the aid stations. It'd be cool if they could have like drone shots out there and stuff like that, but I understand why they can't.
Yeah.
But like the coverage was pretty good, I thought, for what they had to work with, because you know, these towns, the internet is not great either, so you know, they had to use their Starlinks and all that. But no, it was fun following that race. And you know, like we said, both men's and women's course records fall.
Yeah.
Courtney, like every time Courtney's on that start line, the course record is in
It's
jeopardy.
up for grabs. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So that was cool to see her get another win out there. And she's well on her way to cementing herself as the ultra runner of the year for women.
Yeah. Real quick plug for Ohio before you wrap it up with Hardrock. Quick plug.
Yeah.
Michael Owen, 65th overall.
What place?
65th.
Yeah.
65th, boy.
And he is a dominant runner. Like,
that's a bad mofo.
He won Mohican before, right?
Yeah, I would assume. I mean,
I think he did. But yeah, so, and you know, Jamil Coury also finished the race this year. Again, he's had a lot of finishes out there. But yeah, cool. Yeah, it was fun. Let's maybe take a look at some of the other races. So I do want to go to Michigan first.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know like what is going on, but we have like almost 350 downloads this month just from Michigan alone.
Yeah.
I don't know where all these Michigan listeners are coming from, but
take them.
It's cool because we're already ahead of last month in our overall downloads, so pretty awesome.
And now we'll throw you some more love and talk about the little race in there in Mackinac City, Michigan.
Yeah.
You want to take a shot at do you know how to pronounce that race?
I'm thinking it's Waugoshance.
Waugoshane.
I'm not sure, but it's a cool name, and
it's good. It is, yeah.
The Great Lakes Endurance puts us on, and they put on a lot of races up in like the UP and Upper Michigan. They put on races in Wisconsin, I believe. Yeah, they have Michigan races and Wisconsin races. I actually ran the Grand Island Marathon. It was my first trail marathon around the island. I think Chaz ran the 50K there last year.
Okay.
But you had to take a ferry out to the island on race morning, and it's kind of cool. It's not too technical. I think it's a lot of like fire road, but
yeah.
But anyway, so they had a race in Emmett County, which is in the northwest region of the Lower Peninsula. So, you know, if you're looking, at
your mitt. Look at your
mitt. It's like up here, up here somewhere.
Yeah.
And it takes place on the North Country Trail, which we're going to talk a little bit more about later today. Yeah, it's 90% single track, rolling bluffs, overlooks Lake Michigan, coastal forest, inland wilderness lakes, and a 5-mile section of the tranquil Sturgeon Bay Trail. And sounds like a pretty cool course. So
it sounds. I mean, it does. It sounds like it'd be really cool with the overview, like the bluffs overlooking Lake Michigan, stuff like that. It sounds like it'd be a really cool race.
Yeah, and yeah, if I'm in town, for the summer for a couple of weeks at some point, I'll definitely try to coordinate to do that.
Do you see the blue and the pink dot to the upper right of their thing?
Yeah.
There's a 2023 photos. Dude, there is like that photo. That is a cool ass bridge to run across right there.
Oh yeah, that is cool.
Like this has
old school wooden bridge.
Yeah, man, this has a lot of Mohican vibes to it without the hills, probably.
Yeah, there's running next to the lake, I'm assuming.
Boy, yeah. I bet you come out of that race covered in ticks and mosquito bites.
Yeah, well, it's the Michigan woods. All those hours and like hundreds and thousands of hours running in Michigan woods, like the thing, ticks were usually not a problem. Mosquitoes were a problem once in a while, but the one thing that was the most annoying was when the deer flies were out.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Those things would not leave you alone. Like they would chase you for like a mile or two.
Yeah.
And I started wearing a bandana because they would always go for the back of your neck.
Yep.
I started wearing a bandana behind my neck, and I could feel them hitting that bandana. Vicious suckers, but.
And then when they finally do bite, holy hell, it hurts.
Oh my God, yes. It's horrible.
Yeah.
So, but yes, this race looks pretty cool. Looks like the overall winner was Nick Gap, 4 hours, 1 minute. And for the women, it was Margaret Retsema in 4 hours and 56 minutes. So
I'll tell you what, that's a blistering fast 50K.
4 hours, yeah.
That's
pretty solid. Boy. A youngster, 20 to 29, putting down some speed. Let's see. So next up, we have one that's a little closer to me that I haven't done. The San Lorenzo River Trail. And this is in Santa Cruz. And there is there's a lot of trails that I have not explored in the Bay Area. And these trails down by Santa Cruz are some of those trails. And, there's trails down there in the redwoods and all this stuff. The description is run through 300-foot tall, 15-year-old coastal redwoods, lush stream canyons, open meadows, pine and oak forests, high and dry chaparral covered ridges. You cross the river, the San Lorenzo River, you cross that a couple times.
Love it.
I just got to get out of my comfort zone and start exploring new trails. But so anyway, let's see, the 50K overall winner was Jonathan Sutherland, 5 hours, 19 minutes. And for the women, it was Gretchen Ziemer, 6 hours and 7 minutes. So congrats to them. And let's see here. All right, let's go to Ashland, Oregon, the Siskiyou Out Back. And, this is put on by Hal Kerner, the elite ultra runner, Hal Kerner. I think, his race company also puts on the Pine to Palm 100. Mm-hmm. And I believe it's in the same area as Pine to Palm. The 100K is an out and back. And it must be tough because the wrong one. I know a few people that didn't make cutoffs at this race.
Really?
Yep. And the one was in the mile 26, and it's I think it's a 6-hour cutoff to mile 26, and that's like, a tough mountain trail. So that seems like a pretty aggressive cutoff. I can see why.
I mean, the 100K winning time. The 100K winning time was 10:10.
Yeah, that's pretty quick for that course, I'm guessing. Here we are. Oh, yeah, they weren't available there. Yeah, Ryan Neely from Mill Valley.
Yeah.
First place, and you're right, 10:10. And then let's see, for the ladies, Abigail Swift, 11 hours 53 minutes. So looks like for the 100K, they might have had an 18-hour time limit because the last finishers were 17:51.
Yeah, but just because you have a 17-hour cutoff, right, or 18-hour cutoff rather, I'm sorry, just because you have an 18-hour cutoff doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have early hard cutoffs, right? Like I've seen races like that, like daggone it, 50 miler down Tennessee, Dark Sky.
Yeah.
Did
I
you
ran
run
that?
one? Yeah. Dark Sky had a weird cutoff, and it was at a weird.
It was at mile 41, I think.
Yeah, and it was like a really weird, like disproportionately kind of tough cutoff.
Yeah. Was it before you went out on the loop? It might have been like mile 36 or 37.
It was
after the loop.
It was after the loop, and it was like I remember because I feel like you did the loop, and then you did a long climb up.
Yep.
And then you made like a hard left down this trail, and
Yep.
there was like just a couple people sitting at that left, and they're like, "Hey, like, the cutoff, like you're at this point of the cutoff, you're doing great," or like whatever it may have been. But I remember thinking like, this is a weird spot for a cutoff, and knowing that you're well ahead of the race cutoff, but at like mile 41, it just felt anyways.
Yeah.
It was a weird.
Sean O'Brien is like that too. They have a 16-hour overall cutoff for their 100K, which is, there's like 13,500 feet of climbing. It's a tough cutoff to begin with. I actually I was having a really bad day, and I missed the mile 45 cut off by a few minutes, so I had to drop down to the 50 miler. But yeah, it's like that too. Like earlier in the race, there's a really tough cutoff too. So, but yeah, this race is in Ashland, Oregon area, so it's definitely some climbing and tough trails out there.
You hit the PCT.
That's right.
It is funny because, like, I did not make this connection, but after I jumped over to their website, you know what this race goes by, right?
What's that?
SOB.
That's right. It does. It's same as Sean O'Brien.
Yeah. And it is funny because, like, the other thing that's interesting about this race, looking at their map, I would 100% fuck this race up and get lost. because it's an out and back, right? But it's not a linear out and back. It is you go out, you bubble one way, you come back onto the trail, and then you get to like this, like there it is right there, and then you start going north, right? And then all of a sudden you make a figure eight and you loop back around, you come back around, then you go to the opposite side of where you came down. I would 1 1,000,000,000% mess
What?
up and go left when I should go right, or right when I should go left. Yeah.
You're saying you would zig when you should have zagged?
Zig when I should have zagged. But yeah,
Yeah,
this
that's bizarre because you cross over and you're going up that other side.
yeah.
It is you're right,
over.
a figure eight.
It's like a figure eight on a figure eight. Like there's multiple crossover points. It's insane. Like it is an interesting race. Like this is a tougher one, man.
Oh,
Like,
guaranteed tough. Yeah. It doesn't say how much climbing, but yeah. I'm not sure how much climbing, but I'm sure it's plentiful.
I mean the picture right there, right? I mean, like,
yeah.
I mean, that's exposed, so you know what
Looks
I mean.
like yeah. I think it was hot out there, but
yeah.
And that's not surprising, but looks like a beautiful course though.
Super cool course.
And so this is the Siskiyou Out Back Running Festival. They also had a 50 miler, Canyon Woodward. That name, he's won some races. Canyon Woodward. He ran. What did he win? Something out east. Can't remember, but he's a really strong runner. Anyway, 8 hours and 7 minutes for the 50 miler. And Molly Schmezel from Ashland was 9 hours, 26 minutes for the women. And then there was a 50K as well. Chad Delk, 7 hours, 25 minutes. And for the women, Annie Beaverhead, 4 hours and 4 hours, 55 minutes. I don't know what that Chad Delk is. 7:25. Something's weird there.
Maybe that's like a 50K time put in there somehow.
Well, this is the 50K, but yeah, you're right. Maybe it's a 8K.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Nathan Trimble, 4 hours, 28 minutes is showing the legit time. I don't know what happened there, but anyway. Oh yeah, and they're showing top performances. Chad Delk, 7 minutes 25 seconds for the 50K. Something's wrong, but anyway. Let's okay, this next one is actually pretty interesting. The Mount Hood races. Now this takes place in Timothy Lake, Oregon, which my race in September, Mountain Lakes, takes place in that area as well. It's kind of in the shadows of Mount Hood.
Super cool.
South of Mount Hood. And this race takes place on the Pacific Crest Trail. And I will say this, the Pacific Crest Trail in that area is like super nice. Like pine needles and not technical, and it's just really nice. Ryan Mays won for the men in 6 hours and 46 minutes in the 50 miler. And the overall winner and first place female and overall, Michelle Bunky, 6 hours, 39 minutes. So she not only won overall, she set the course record too.
Yeah.
Like the outright course record. And let's see here. Here's a picture of her.
Yeah, that's such a cool.
On the podium, and the top three men are giving her props.
It's a good picture.
Yeah, she just dominated. That's so cool. Like, not only beating all the guys, but setting the overall course record too. I mean, that is just awesome. So congrats to Michelle. Beaverhead was this weekend too.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Beaverhead, Pete, our friend Pete ran Beaverhead. Yep. This is in Idaho. Super tough mountain race. There's a 100K and a 55K. And let's see here. The race advises, please come prepared. A true mountain course. Ben Salins won the 100K in 9 hours 34 minutes. JT Wynn in 12 hours and 6 minutes, which was a course record, by the way. And then Ben Hathaway won the 55K in 6 hours 40 minutes, and Amy Kramer won for the women in 7 hours and 20 minutes. So that kid looks young. Like Ben Salins, the 100K champion, 9 hours 34 minutes. He just crushed that course. I wonder how old he is.
Rewind it real fast. Michelle Bunky, right?
Yeah.
Has she ever hit your radar before? Has her name ever popped up where you're like, oh?
I don't think so.
We like at some point she's gonna probably start getting some recognition. I mean, if this race doesn't do it, but you're getting ready to do what I'm just doing right now, and it is holy wow. She is like how is she not getting, like, she's got to be sponsored, right? Like, she has to be sponsored.
She got 13th place at CCC at UTMB last year. She got first place at San Diego 100.
Yeah.
So we have mentioned. Oh wait, no, that's last year.
That was last year. And like, here's the thing: not only did she get first place women, she got 7th overall.
Right.
Like she hammered San Diego 100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she's
podiumed. She's podiumed most of the races that she's been in.
She won Run the Rock. Took third out at Crested Butte. I mean, like, she is like,
and she's only 28 years old.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see big things from her.
I'm just saying, like, she's clearly from. I mean, well, I guess it probably does say, right? I'm assuming she's from Oregon, correct? Because she's absolutely crushing everything around Portland, Oregon. Like, she's just like, this is mine.
Yeah, she must be. Must be from Oregon.
Like, what an absolute what an absolute stud.
She is from Oregon. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. Like, what an absolute.
Her ultra sign-up rank's 94.71.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Mine's probably like 4. Like, just 4. I don't think she has an Instagram rank. It doesn't look like. At least if she does, they didn't tag her in this.
Oh, looks like she set the women course record, not the overall course record.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, excellent. She beat out Keely Henniger. That's like not easy to do.
What an absolute badass.
Yeah, we're gonna see big things from her, I have a feeling. Okay. Yeah, so Beaverhead, I wonder how old that kid was, Ben Salins. I'm gonna look at that because he looks super young. Here we are. He's 20 years old. 20 years old. And he just slayed Beaverhead 100K.
That's insane.
Yeah. Okay. So what else we got? Oh, dude. So there's another race at this Cedar Creek State Park.
I saw that.
In Waynesville, Ohio, which, like I said, I've been to Waynesville one time. I went to visit somebody that
Now, what is weird is this trail. That's like the first photo of this is not what we saw. Like this looks entirely different. The trail scramble, like you know what I mean. Like the other one looked like it was like paved. It looked like it's like a city park.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So I've never been to Caesar Creek, but
Yeah.
it might be worth going to check out sometime. So it looks like the 50K. Well, let me just go back here. Spencer Olds won in 4 hours 34 minutes, and Kate Gordon 5 hours and 50 minutes for the Queen City Trail Scramble 50K in Waynesville, Ohio. All right. Do we have anything else? Oh, there was a race in Shawnee, Kansas, the Tale of Two Trails. Looks like they had a few different events. The 100K, Travis Jewell won 13 hours, 1 minute. Jenny Overstreet, 11 hours, 53 minutes. This next thing that I wanted to talk about is really cool, actually. It's a new FKT segment, and it's on the Pennsylvania portion of the North Country Trail. Now, the North Country Trail is pretty phenomenal, I might say. It's like 40. Actually, let's go to that website. I think it's like 4,800 miles. And it goes from North Dakota all the way to Vermont. So the trail sections that are not filled in, there's some reasoning behind that, but they are connected. I believe there is some road involved as well. The Ohio part of it actually goes south and follows the Buckeye Trail up and around. But yeah, so it goes all the way from North Dakota to Vermont. There is 2 people, the mixed gender team, self-supported, that did the whole thing in 186 days, 9 hours and 38 minutes back in 2021. So 186 days. And it's, let's see, 4,600 miles long.
4,800 miles, right?
40. I made a mistake. I said 48, but this says 4,600.
Oh, that's weird. The one I'm looking at says 48.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well,
get your stuff together, FKT site.
It very well could be. It very well could be.
It is no less than 46, no more than 48.
We can confirm. Yeah, it goes through several states. Really cool. So anyway, is that the same people? Let's see, Ryan Bunting and Dana Burkett. Let's see here.
No, this one is Tony DeLuca and Sarah Wallace.
Okay. They set the mixed gender segment for the state of Pennsylvania, which is 284.8 miles. Looks like it passes through a bunch of state parks and country roads, meanders along the lazy northern reaches of the Allegheny River, where it passes through historic railroad tunnels, ever making its way northward, where the final 100 miles takes you through Allegheny National Forest. The final 30 miles gives solitude, gorgeous trails, and a view of the Allegheny Reservoir. From Willow Bay Trailhead, an approximate 1.4 mile uphill walk takes you to the New York state line. They did this segment in 6 days and 8 hours and 11 minutes, supported. So cool FKT route. I would like to explore more of the North Country Trail. I think it utilizes the Buckeye Trail in Ohio. But
I'll tell you what, man, that trail, that segment they did, like it's kind of funny because I'm just kind of like I'm slowly just kind of going while you're along the river, right? Like it's going like there's like a section of it where it kind of goes east for a little while, and then when it turns northward and like really starts following the river really really close.
Yeah.
Like I could see myself like falling into like this is kind of nice, and then it makes like a hard right, and then like actually kind of heads southeast for a little while.
Yeah.
And
And you have
and
a
then all
climb.
and then all of a sudden it starts going north again. As soon as that son of a bitch starts going north again, boy oh boy, you start getting into some like pretty solid, like small mountainy region kind of places, man. But then right when you get up around the Allegheny Reservoir, as that gets there's some hills in there.
Oh yeah. No, that's no joke. I mean, you're getting into New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and then Vermont, you know, you're going through the mountains in Vermont. So
Yeah.
yeah, pretty cool, really. Is that the longest like trail in the United States? Might be.
Oh, I have
Um,
no clue. Yeah.
okay, so that was cool, FKT. All right, well, let's go to the big news, the big news that just
Dude,
dropped
crazy. Yeah.
yesterday or the day before. Steep Life Media, who's Jamil Coury's Jam's media company, that's kind of an offshoot from Aravaipa Race Organization. You know, the Mountain Outpost falls under Steep Life Media, and they do all the live race coverage for all these races now. And Jamil has just built himself an enterprise, man. Like that dude is so entrepreneurial, and like I don't know how he has time for all this stuff. Like it's just incredible.
Well, and so I mean, if he's running this as a CEO, right? If he's sitting at it as a CEO, I mean, is he running it? You know what I mean? Like you would think that he is.
Yeah, for sure.
He is very. I'm sure he's like putting like creative like thoughts into it, but at the end of the day, hopefully, I would assume he has touched a couple like you will run this division and you will run that division.
So
it is really cool.
He's very boots on the ground too. Like he's at races setting up porta pots and like you know, we saw him out at Black Canyon. Remember, he was out there setting stuff up. He's very hands-on. But anyways, the big news is Steep Life Media, his media wing, purchased UltraRunning Magazine. And UltraRunning Magazine is kind of like our Bible, right? You know, it's our publication that we look forward to like 8 times a year.
Been around since 1981, dude.
1981.
Like yeah.
If you ever listen to the UltraRunning history, or I think there's been like Trail Runner Nation podcasts before about the actual history of UltraRunning Magazine. UltraRunning Magazine used to be the only source for race results.
Yeah.
Back in the early days of ultrarunning. Yeah, and people would find out about races that way too. You know, back before internet, before the ultrarunning was really even a thing. So yeah, so I think this is a good thing. It's a lot better than like a venture capitalist group buying it.
It's 100% better than UTMB or Ironman. Like I would have been sick to my stomach if UTMB or Ironman or something like that would have bought it. I would have just like absolutely wanted to stab myself in the ears.
Yeah.
Now
that would have been cringe.
it would have been just so gross. Now that being said, the one thing that like how close are we to this? is like, listen, like, think about the live streams you see. Think about the media that you see. Think about, Twitter, Facebook. A lot of what you consume now, short of only one or two other exceptions, is coming from him. So does all of a sudden do you begin to get a little bit of a,
monopoly?
yeah, do you begin to get a little bit of monopoly? Do you begin to get a little bit of like, what is the term kowtow? Do you begin to get a little bit of like, well, but these are our friends, so we won't shit talk them, right? Like, do we really expect?
That's
like
a good point. That's the other side of it.
Yeah, like, do we really expect? Let's be honest now, right? Like this same conglomerate is the conglomerate that is Aravaipa, right? Like they're kin. Well, if you're not a UTMB owned thing and you're not a Hoka thing, who's the only people that has golden tickets? So do we really expect that Aravaipa, like a Steep Life Media outlet, coming out and be like, you know what, Western States, UTMB, that was bullshit. That was really messed up, dude. Like, and so it's like one of those things where, like, when all of these things really start coming together, you lose that little bit of ability to just speak your mind and be like, you know what, like, I might be wrong here, but I think this is messed up. You know what I mean? Like, you lose a little bit of that. And like, shit, I'll eat crow. I eat crow on a regular basis. Like, listen, I don't know very many people that's been married for 20. Let's see, we got married in 2001. I don't know very many people that's been married for 23 years that haven't eaten crow. You know what I mean? A handful.
That's a good point you raise. That's a really good point you raise. Like, which races are going to be featured in UltraRunning Magazine now?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
What are the ads going to look like?
Yep. Are we just going to see like glossy slicks at UTMB? Are we just going to see a bunch of Euro stuff out there? All of a sudden, like, you know what? Here's who I would think it'd be interesting to see. Do we all of a sudden see a lot less of Gary?
Gary Cantrell?
No. The Canadian ginger.
Gary Robbins.
Yeah. All right. Well, we know he has beef with UTMB. Do we see? All of a sudden is he not going to make the magazine? You know what I mean?
A lot of questions.
And so that kind of stuff, right? And like Lonesome 100, like
High Lonesome,
like those cats have straight put out on their website, if you run a UTMB, you're not welcome here. I mean, those dudes are like double birding UTMB.
Yeah. Well,
will we see? Yeah, and so those are just kind of things I begin to think about when you see these conglomerates.
Yeah, and I've heard some other. There's people that have beef with Aravaipa too, because Aravaipa moved into Colorado Springs, and there was some races that were being put on the same day as some other races. And things like that. So they're definitely a big fish in a small pond in America.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I just think it'd be interesting to see, I don't know, the next, the remain, because it takes effect now. Like
it's September now. Issue.
Yeah. And so it'll be interesting to see what the remaining balance of this year's issues look like. And, like, I would be willing to bet in 2025, we'll get a taste of it right off the rip. Like, whatever 2025 looks like early, will probably be the new poison. And I don't know. And like, I could be eating crow one of those times, and like Jam could be like, you know what? Fuck, I'm going to speak my mind. And I have put orders out to the people who run that group to go at it. Like, you put out there, like, I don't care whose feelings it hurts, if they're friends of ours or not, you good, bad, or ugly. Put it in print. He might. I mean, that dude might just be like, bow his back and throw that out there. Will he?
Yeah.
Like, do what your wallet can handle.
The only other big ultra running media that we really have is I Run Far, and they still do their race updates are done on Twitter, which in a race like Hardrock, it really comes in handy. But,
yes, they were great. They were great.
Yeah, but Brian Powell was really the pioneer of ultra running media, and then Jamil is now the king. So we'll see what happens. I hope they maintain, because they are pretty neutral for their race coverage, and they do have a lot of different people that write articles. And they're usually pretty good articles. I'm really into reading that magazine every month. So we'll see what happens.
I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping for the best, because like you said, I personally, like, I get it. Like, if I was a local running director and Air Vipa came in and Big Dick Energy me and threw a race down on the same weekend as me, I'd be pissed. I'd be super pissed. Yeah. Right. So I get all that energy. But I will also, as a person who does sales or runs a sales team for my real life job, I will never begrudge a person for making some more money. You know what I mean? I'll never be mad about that.
And it wasn't even the same day. That fact that it was the same day, it's the fact that it was like on trails right next to where the other races
like
happening.
Runners with different bibs are on the same trail, but you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? So I mean,
that's one guy's perspective. I don't know. You know.
And I like Air Viper. Like, for me, I mean, the one Air Viper race I ran, I had a great time. I mean, I had a bad race, but I had a good time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
they do a great job. They do a great job putting on races. I would definitely run their races. And
like you said, Jam seems like a nice dude, right?
He's awesome, man. He's awesome. You go back and watch the old videos, like, of him doing these like drop bag challenge and Chipotle challenge and like all this stuff. He is hilarious. Like, he's one of those guys that's like funny without trying to be funny. But we were talking about how the other ultra running news show was the Mountain Outpost. And maybe like a couple, 2 months ago, it started up and it was going for a while, but I think he's gotten super busy because hasn't had it in the last couple of weeks. So
we got you covered, though. We got
all the news, all the ultra running news you can want.
Come here.
So, come here, have a good time for us that are just on here shooting the shit, and we're not making any money off this. So
I flipped over to these run clubs that you sent over.
Yeah, I didn't know if I wanted to talk about this or not, but we have a few minutes, so we might as well. So I don't know. This is a growing trend now. All these celebrities are starting up run clubs, like Diplo. I don't even know who Diplo is, but
I thought she was like. Am I crazy? Is Diplo not like? I'm not even going to say it because I think I'm dead ass wrong. Like, I'm like 99.9% positive I'm wrong. Looking at just the first couple pictures, who I thought Diplo was, like, I was way effing wrong. So I'm not going to say who I thought it was at first. So
I think I know where you're going with that. Diplo is a dude.
I can tell you I would have been wrong right off the rip. Like
but Diplo has a run club and it's like pretty popular, and they're going around like to different cities and stuff, and holding these events. And then I found out that Travis Barker also has a run club.
Which Travis is run. Absolutely hilarious.
I know, like, out of all people to have a run club, like Travis Barker, the drummer for Blink 182.
Blink 182, yeah.
Who, it's funny though, because he's like still wearing all his his punk rock
Yeah.
stuff, and like, I don't know.
There's a picture. As a matter of fact, see your cursor where it is right now. That he's running with no shirt on. The picture above that, exile that one and go the picture above it, and it was just like there's a great like that is as fucking punk as it get. Like there's a lot of punk,
transplants.
So it's just like, what do we? It is.
So this is a growing trend. I'm guessing we're going to start seeing a lot more of this. Like, man, could you imagine in the 90s, like some like grunge bands starting up a run club? Like, it's it's just odd.
Dude, I just came across his OG post. Go to his first effing post. This is amazing.
Come run with me. Oh, he's doing a Forrest Gump.
Shut the fuck up.
He just put on a red Forrest Gump hat, Bubba Gump, and he is wearing Forrest Gump clothes, and he's out on a trail somewhere in California, I'm guessing down by LA.
That is, I mean, you know what it really kind of looks like? It actually really kind of looks like it's up around Auburn, really. For me, I guess a lot of the rolling, like, you know, I mean, I don't know why every time. That is absolutely unhinged.
Yep. So that was his first post on Instagram for the run club. Looks like he's been in Los Angeles on July 6th, and he's going to be in Queens, New York on July 21st. You can register for the event. So, well, at least priorities of celebrities are more on the healthy side now, maybe.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I just thought that was kind of odd, but worth a mention.
I mean, I hate how old I feel, but I gotta look up who Diplo is now.
Yeah. Yeah, I admit I heard about Diplo's run club like a few times, and I'm like, who the hell is Diplo? But I'm sure all of our younger listeners are like, I can't believe you don't know who Diplo is.
I have rarely felt this old. Like, I consider myself a really young dude. Like, I am hating this right now because I have no clue who this cat is.
Yeah. Right. Here's a big sign. Just a reminder that I beat Oprah's marathon time. Diplo's Run Club.
That is awesome.
And they have like after parties, of course. Oh, it looks like he's a DJ, maybe.
I think he does like house music.
Yeah,
I think he's like electro house
EDM.
music. EDM. I think he's that. Which, man, I actually weirdly like enjoy. But I couldn't tell you who any of those dudes are. But I do actually enjoy that music.
I went to quite a few warehouse parties in the 90s in Detroit.
Interesting. House music, yes, for sure. House music.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool,
man. All right. Well, we are definitely at time, so I think we're gonna wrap it up for today. But yeah, do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think we're all set. Appreciate everybody giving us a listen, downloading. Keep up the listens and the views for us. We love it. You know, like every week. Well, probably not every week. I should probably be more consistent about it, but leave us a review, hit us up on socials, give us a like, give us a listen, all that kind of fun stuff. Share us out with your run groups that you may run with. Spread the word. Like we said, you ain't down to between a couple of us left for some independent stuff. So
that's right.
Absolutely love it. So
we're the only UltraRunning news network out there. There's media.
Even bi-coastal, yeah, even bi-coastal for you. So
there's ABC, NBC, CBS, ESPN, but nobody covers ultra running.
Oh,
Not any news networks anyway. So, all right. Well, thanks everyone, and we'll catch you on the next one.
All right. Thanks. See you.